Hey friends, what's up? My name is Jeff Heath, and today you can see I'm doing a little setup in my studio because today we are doing best friend photo shoots. That's right, this is my best friend, Maverick. He's not gonna be in the photos, but we are doing doggy photos. What do you think, Mav? You good doggy? So if you're a photographer with a studio space, I find that the studio space sometimes does not get utilized as much as it should when you're doing people portraits or those kinds of things where you're trying to have your space utilized. And so I found a great way, especially in the off season or when things are slow, I've started to do best friend photo shoots, which are dog portraits in my office. So I'm gonna show you how I set it up. Let's get into it. First of all, you gotta set up your lights. I'm going to be using the aperture lights. This is a 120D, a 300D over here. These are Matthew stands. Little pro tip I learned from my friends in the movies, always grip to the right. What that means is with your C-stands, make sure your tightening things, your tightening knobs are always on the right-hand side, because what happens is if you do it on the left-hand side, these things can actually become loose. If you're gripping to the right, as pressure comes down and weight comes down, this actually tightens it up rather than loosens. If things get a little loose, it'll actually tighten itself up on the right-hand side. So a little pro tip, when you're using your grip equipment, grip to the right. All right, so what I do is this 300D with the grid on there is actually my main light, my key light. This 120D is gonna be a top-down light. When you have dogs with fur, you want their fur to stand out, especially dark dogs with like brown fur or especially black fur. You really need a lot of separation from your background. So the more light you can put on these dogs in a creative way, the better you're going to give the definition and the differentiation between the background and the little aspects of their muscle and fur and aspects of their body. So a little pro tip, the more light you have on a dog, especially a dark colored dog, the better your pictures are going to turn out. But let's keep setting up. This is the Aperture Amran. So this will be my hair light on the back. So once again, key light, top light, hair light. So the way I set up these dog photos is I put out a post saying, hey, I'm doing this. I have a sign-up sheet. I say a max amount of people. I say a rate of how much it's going to be for a half-hour session. And I give them 10 to 15 photos. And then I also print off one photo for them, which is a 13 by 17 print of their dog that they get to choose after the shoot. So people really enjoy having an actual thing that they can have, a physical thing rather than a digital copy, which is always a nice little bonus. So the other fun thing is I've got this multicolor background. This is the Neewer background. It's a 4-roll, seamless roll holder, which I mounted to the wall. I have another video that I'll post up here on setting that up. It has worked out. This is probably a year and a half, 2 years I've had it. It's amazing. It's worked out great. The rolls stay up there, they come out easy. It's been a game changer in regards to using seamless. So if you need a seamless backdrop, that's it. So when my clients sign up, I give them the option. I have a little form they fill out. They have the option of blue, gray, pink, or yellow for their backdrop. It's great to have those options. So I let them pick one color that they can have for the dog. I don't switch it during the shoot because I do tape it all down, but I do switch the background when I have different dogs because people request a different color. So I give myself a half-hour photo shoot and then a half hour to change the setup if I need to. So I book my photo shoots every hour that people come in. So starting at 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 people come in. So I have a half hour in between dogs, between the photo shoot to reset up, or just reorganize, or just to collect my thoughts again in between each puppy. Okay, so we're just going to position our lights. Remember, dogs are low to the ground. So this will be my key light, a top down, just like that. And then we need our hair light. It's gonna go over here. This should turn on. And this is the setup for the doggos. We got our key light here, got our top down light here, which will adjust and move depending on the dog, and our hair light just over here. So the dogs will come in, people will have treats. Come over here, come here, hey, here, sit. The dogs will come in and I'll be snapping away as they pose for the little photos, right, Mav? You good dog? Do you want a hug? Do you want a hug? Yes, oh yes, you want a hug. You're a good boy. So that is the setup right there. I'm ready to go. The dogs arrive tomorrow, but I'm set up. Let's jump to tomorrow.
Steve.
So what we're trying to do is trying to position him under this here. Oh, stay. You're being a good listener. You always gotta get them warmed out a little bit because they get their little smiles from their panting. The big thing you want to do with dogs is not have your aperture wide open because the dog's snout is long. So when you're focusing, a lot of times you'll get the focus on the nose and the eyes will be blurry and vice versa. So I'm usually trying to focus on the eyes. I have it closed down a little bit just so I can put a little more things in focus. I'm shooting on a seamless backdrop, so it's not a big deal. I don't really necessarily need that shallow depth of field because I want to show the whole dog. Corey, back up, sit. Good, stay.
Good girl.
Oh, you already have a good smile. That's all we need. She got such a pretty face in regards to she seems like she's smiling the whole time. Okay, so we just finished day 1 of our best friend photos and it went really well. The dogs were all really well behaved, good listeners. So once again, we were trying to get them in different facial expressions. Believe it or not, dogs do have facial expressions, as any dog owner knows. What I find works really good is most dogs, when they first come in, are a little bit skittish, a little bit worried. There's lots of lights. They actually get scared of the camera as well, which I always find funny. This big black thing in front of their face. So just give the dogs a little bit of time to get used to you. Let them have a sniff over the space, get used to their surroundings, yourself, their owners being there, and you telling them what to do. And what usually happens is the dogs will be really stoic and kind of serious to start. Again, this sounds funny for people who are non-dog owners, but once they kind of get comfortable and loose, they'll start to get used to the environment and they get a little happier and a little more playful. And what happens is once a dog starts to pant a little bit and get their tongue out, that's how they cool themselves and regulate their temperature. They actually tend to have more facial expressions and smile more for the photos, which is always very cute and fun. So once your dog kind of gets used to the space and you and everything that's going on, they tend to relax just like humans. They get used to the vibe, used to you, and get more comfortable in front of the camera. So just like when you're shooting people, the dogs are the same way. They need some time to get used to you, what's going on, the space that they're in. And once that happens, pictures just kind of make themselves. Did you know she was blind and deaf and everything like that? Really? And how did you find out? Did it happen gradually or was it? So why don't you sit with her? Why don't you sit down with her to start? Let's see if she'll stay with you. That's some good drool. That's some good drool. Back it up. Here, stay. Oh, up. Up. Oh, sit. Good boy. Daisy, come here. Go have a sniff. Oh, there we go, Hank.
Stay. Stay.
Just right kind of underneath that big light there is kind of where we want her to sit. Okay, so we just finished our photo shoot yesterday, and today we're now going to get into the editing process. So come along with me into Lightroom. I'll edit a few of the dog photos to show you how I deal with the seamless, how I deal some of the dirt on the floor, and how I deal with the puppies, obviously, to make them look amazing. So let's go into Lightroom. All right, we are in Lightroom. I've already culled all my images, so I've gone through all of them. I picked out my favorite ones. So I'm gonna go through a little bit of my process in regards to how I deal with seamless, how I deal with dirt on the floor, and then how I edit the dog's images in Lightroom and Photoshop. So let's get into that. Let's start right here with this wonderful dog here. This dog here is named Sully. He did wonderful, a very good listener, very good boy. So what we're going to do here is, the first thing you're going to notice is we have this dirt down here, our footprints from everyone. So there's a few different ways you can go about this. The quickest way I have found to deal with this is to deal with it in Photoshop. So what we're gonna do is right click on Sully's photo here, and we're gonna edit in Photoshop. Should open up Photoshop for us here. There's Sully in Photoshop. So what I do is I will duplicate the layer. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is right down here in the new Photoshop, you have select subject. I'm going to do that. Does a pretty good job of outlining Sully here. And what we're going to do is create a mask around him. And then we're going to take the background. What we're going to do is filter, blur, Gaussian blur. You can see right away that that background gets a nice and fuzzy. We're getting rid of some of that footprints on the background. So you don't want to overdo it because you can see on the edges it's getting fuzzy. So what we're going to do now is blur it out just a tiny bit. We're going to go OK. Now on our mask here, we want to bring back the sharpness on the edges here around Sully. So we're going to go to our mask layer. We're going to do our subject here, and we're going to just go back over all the edges here to bring back the detail around his fur. We'll make sure that's all there still. Okay, and then just save it, go Control S. Once that's saved, we're going to go back into Lightroom. It should be the new versions right here. So we'll get rid of this one. This is our new version. So if you look, you can see the background there to here is a lot better. And then we'll just use our heal brush here. We're just going to heal some of these areas here. Get rid of some of this stuff here to make it look a little smoother. And then what I like to do is, this is where I'll start using my presets. So I still use the VSCO or Visco. So what I've been using on this one is the 400 Kodak Vibrant, so you can see the difference here. Just makes things pop a little bit. Then we're gonna look at his eyes here. Those look beautiful. So then what I like to do is add a little texture. So we wanna make their fur and eyes pop, a little bit of clarity like that. I'm gonna turn down the exposure just a tiny bit here. I'm gonna take down some of these highlights because it's a white dog. And then I like to take a little bit of sharpening and sharpen up the photo just a tiny bit to bring out all of that fur. And then let's add a little vignette on this one to make Sully really pop here. There we go. So once again, there's the before and the after. We have these lights here. So the reason we have a top light is because when the dog is looking up at you like this, you want to have some of that catch light in the photo, or in its eyes. You want to have that catch light in its eyes. And then we have our key light over here lighting him from the left, and then our hair light separating him from our background. So there's Sully. Let's go, let's try a dark dog here with Sir Oliver Wigglebottom. There he is. Hello, Oliver. So this is a dark dog. So again, the reason you're having your hair light over on the top up here is to give this separation from the background. They chose a gray background, which is nice with a dark dog. So same thing. This one doesn't need a lot of work because it just looks good already. But let's do one here where we have our background showing. Let's find a better picture here. Okay, so this is a black dog on a gray backdrop. We have a lot of this stuff happening in the background with the C-stand here, the light, this part over here where the seamless ends. So what we're going to do, same thing, we're going edit in Photoshop once again. So it pops up, and this is where we're going to use our content aware / our AI on this photo. We're going to select all this stuff on the edges here, kind of going around. We're going to use the generative fill here, and up here it says generative fill. I'm going to say extend gray backdrop. And we're going to generate. Now this doesn't always work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. For the most part, it works really, really well. Oh, that looks pretty good. Let's look at our other options here. First one looks good. Got a little gray over here that we don't want, but I'm going to crop in, I think, a little bit. But that is pretty good. So this is before and after. Back into Lightroom. There's our before. There's our after. We're going to get rid of this one because we don't need it. And we're going to crop in a little bit on this one again, like so. I'm going to get his head centered out there like that. Same thing, we are going to now go into our presets. I'm going to use the same one here. I'm going to use the 400 Vibrant. I like that. We are going to put a little vignette on this, like so. And then we're going to get rid of some of this stuff on the floor here. So we can go back into Photoshop and we can do that part where we are graying things out with the blur. But this one's not so bad because it's far away, we're okay. So I'm just gonna use the heal here. We're gonna heal up some of these marks here to get rid of it. And once again, we're going to add a little more texture to the photo, tiny bit of clarity. And then we're gonna add a little bit of sharpening. And call her good. Sir Wigglebottom looking pretty darn good. So once again, there's our before, there's our after, Sir Wigglebottom. Oliver looking good. Okay, let's do a different color backdrop here. Let's do a yellow one. This dog's name was Chase. Chase was a good boy. I love this photo of Chase. This one doesn't need a whole lot of work. It looks good right off the hop. So once again, all we have to do on this one, we're going to add our preset on. Again, we're using the Kodak Vibrant, so they can see the difference there. Just makes things pop a little bit. We are going to up the texture again, tiny bit of clarity. And on this one, what I want to do is make his eyes pop a little bit. So what we're going to do is put a mask with our brush. I'm just going to go over the eyes just a tiny bit, and we're going to up the exposure just a tiny little bit. Just make his eyes pop just a tiny bit. A little contrast there. There you go, you can see the difference right away. So the eyes stand out a little bit more. We have a lot more contrast in the photo. The fur, the individual fur really sticks out on the photo, which is what we want. So see here versus on the left side here. Just a lot more definition in the photo. And that yellow, I love this yellow backdrop. It just makes me so happy when people choose the yellow. So it's wonderful. So there we go. We are all done with the edits. So we're gonna go through all of them obviously now and edit all of them. The clients will each get a gallery online. They get to download all the digital assets as well. They'll get to choose one photo that they'll get to have for a print of 13 by 19 print that I print here in my studio for them to have. And once that's done, I just call them to come pick it up and they get to take that home. So it's wonderful. So if you love dogs and you have a studio space, I highly recommend doing this. Do it over a weekend where you can schedule people one after the other. So you have like a weekend kind of dog best friend photo bonanza. And that way you kind of get it all done and you can do all your editing all at once after rather than spacing it out all the time. Or if you just want to be that person that's the dog photographer, this could kind of be your thing. Dogs are wonderful to work with. They're super pleasant. I love having them around. One dog did pee in my office while I was here, but that's the first time that's happened. So when my dog showed up this morning and smelled that, he was not happy. If you've never done pet photography before, I hope that this has been helpful in learning how to light the pets, how to do a seamless backdrop, how to edit some of the photos, and just how to interact with your clients, the dogs, and their owners. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope that you subscribe. drop a comment in the comment section and ask any question that you might have about dog photography. I've even done a cat once. Those are a little harder to deal with. The cat people, I mean, not the cats. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.